I thought it was, and choose my own reality instead. I loose the world from all I thought it was, and choose my own reality instead. I loose the world from all I thought it was, and choose my own reality instead. I loose the world from all I thought it was. I loose the world from all I thought it was. Well, I'm Miracle Willie, forgiveness teacher from the Ozarks, and we're ready for lesson 132 in A Course in Miracles. We'll be reading from the 2007 edition of Foundation for Inner Peace's publication. Here on Saturday, May the 11th of 2024. I loose the world from all I thought it was. What keeps the world in chains but your beliefs? What keeps the world in chains but your beliefs? And what can save the world except yourself? Belief is powerful indeed. The thoughts you hold are mighty. The thoughts you hold are mighty. And illusions are as strong in their effects as is the truth. Oh my. Illusions are as strong in their effects as is the truth. A madman thinks the world he sees is real and does not doubt it, nor can he be swayed by questions his thoughts' effects. It is but when their source is raised to question that the hope of freedom comes to him at last. Yet is salvation easily achieved, for anyone is free to change his mind, and all his thoughts change with it. Now the source of thought has shifted, for to change your mind means you have changed the source of all ideas you think, or ever thought, or yet will think. You free the past from what you thought before. You free the future from all ancient thoughts of seeking what you do not want to find. The present now remains the only time. Here is the present. Here in the present is the world set free. For as you let the past be lifted and release the future from your ancient fears, you find escape and give it to the world. You have enslaved the world with all your fears and your doubts and miseries, your pain and tears, and all your sorrows press on it, and keep the world a prisoner to your beliefs. Death strikes it everywhere because you hold the bitter thoughts of death within your mind. What beliefs you hold in your mind is how the world is going to mirror back to you exactly what you're thinking. So he's going to explain that, but this is we want to really understand the power of our belief. And so we want our beliefs to be in alignment with truth. The world is nothing in itself. Your mind must give it meaning, and what you behold upon it are your wishes, and what you behold upon the world are your wishes, acted out so you can look on them and think them real. Perhaps you think you did not make the world, but came unwillingly to what was made already, hardly waiting for your thoughts to give it meaning. Yet in truth you found exactly what you looked for when you came. There is no world apart from what you wish. There is no world apart from what you wish. And herein lies your ultimate release. Change but your mind on what you want to see, and all the world must change accordingly. Ideas leave not their source. This central theme is often stated in the text. Ideas leave not their source. This central theme is often stated in the text and must be borne in mind if you would understand the lesson for today. Lesson for today, I loosed the world from all I thought it was. It is not pride which tells you that you made the world you see, and that it changes as you change your mind. But it is pride that argues you have come into a world quite separate from yourself, impervious to what you think and quite apart from what you chance to think it is. There is no world! Exclamation point, he says. There is no world. This is the central thought the Course attempts to teach. There is no world. Well, that's an important idea. This is the central thought the Course attempts to teach. There is no world. Not everyone is ready to accept it, and each one must go as far as he can let himself be led along the road to truth. He will return and go still farther and perhaps step back a while and then return again. But healing is the gift of those who are prepared to learn. There is no world and can accept the lesson now. Healing is the gift of those who are prepared to learn. There is no world and can accept the lesson now. Their readiness will bring the lesson to them in some form which they can understand and recognize. Some see it suddenly on point of death and rise to teach it. Near-death experience. Others find it an experience that is not of this world, which shows them that the world does not exist because what they behold must be the truth, and yet it clearly contradicts the world. I've had dreams like that before that were more real than the world, that taught me the direction to go. Might be other things, plant medicines, what else? I'm not sure, maybe hypnosis. I'm not sure what all the things he was referring to there, but it could be a number of things. Others find it an experience that is not of this world, which shows them that the world does not exist because what they behold must be the truth, and yet it clearly contradicts the world. And of course, some see it suddenly on point of death and rise to teach it. Oh, how many near-death experiencers, which I'd encourage you to listen to them. And paragraph 8, and some will find it in this course and in the exercises that we do today. Now, let's do that. Let's find this. The world is not real. There is no world. It's a product of our beliefs. Today's idea is true because the world does not exist. And if it is indeed your own imagining, then you can loose it from all things you ever thought it was by merely changing all the thoughts that gave it these appearances. The sick are healed as you let go all thoughts of sickness, and the dead arise when you let thoughts of life replace all thoughts you ever held of death. A lesson earlier repeated once must now be stressed again, for it contains the firm foundation for today's idea. You are as God created you. You are as God created you. There is no place where you can suffer and no time that can bring change to your eternal state. How can a world of time and place exist if you remain as God created you? What is the lesson for today except another way of saying that to know yourself is the salvation of the world? To free the world from every kind of pain is but to change your mind about yourself. There is no world apart from your ideas because ideas leave not their source, and you maintain the world within your mind in thought. Yet if you are as God created you, you cannot think apart from Him, nor make what does not share His timelessness and love. Are these inerrant in the world you see? Does it create like Him? Unless it does, it is not real and cannot be at all. If you are real, the world you see is false. For God's creation is unlike the world in every way. And as it was His thought by which you were created, so it is your thoughts which made it and must set it free, that you may know the thoughts you share with God. And that word thoughts is capitalized. The thoughts you share with God, all your brothers and sisters. Paragraph 12. Release the world. Your real creations wait for this release to give you fatherhood, not of illusions, but as God in truth. God shares His fatherhood with you who are His son, for He makes no distinctions in what is Himself and what is still himself. What he creates is not apart from him, and nowhere does the Father end, the Son begin as something separate from him. There is no world because it is a thought apart from God, and made to separate the Father and the Son, and break away a part of God himself, and thus destroy his wholeness. Can a world which comes from this idea be real? Can it be anywhere? Deny illusions, but accept the truth. Deny you are a shadow briefly laid upon a dying world. Release your mind, and you will look upon a world released. Today our purpose is to free the world from all the idle thoughts we ever held about it, and about all living things we see upon it. They cannot be there, no more can we. For we are in the home our Father set for us along with them. And we who are as he created us would loose the world this day from every one of our illusions, that we may be free. Begin the 15-minute periods in which we practice twice today with this: I who remain as God created me would loose the world from all I thought it was. For I am real because the world is not, and I would know my own reality. So start your 2 15-minute practice periods with that idea. I who remain as God created me would loose the world from all I thought it was. For I am real because the world is not, and I would know my own reality. Then merely rest, alert but with no strain. Rest, alert but with no strain. And let your mind in quietness be changed, so that the world is freed along with you. You need not realize that healing comes to many brothers far across the world, as well as to the ones you see nearby, as you send out these thoughts to bless the world. But you will sense your own release, although you may not fully understand as yet that you could never be released alone. All the thoughts of God have to be released with you, all your brothers and sisters. In the last paragraph, throughout the day, increase the freedom sent through your ideas to all the world, and say whenever you are tempted to deny the power of your simple change of mind, I loose the world from all I thought it was, and choose my own reality instead. Okay, well, let's go look at our text reading. We'll come back to this. Our text reading is in chapter 14, and it's the last section. We'll finish the chapter today. The last section being the test for truth. And we'll pick up where we left off, which is in paragraph 7. Remember, we had finished, and such a wonderful thing. We have time, we'll sing it again today. That part where it says, when your peace is threatened or disturbed in any way, say to yourself, I do not know what anything including this means, and so I do not know how to respond to it, and I will not use my own past learning as the light to guide me now. By this refusal to attempt to teach yourself what you do not know, the guide whom God has given you will speak to you. He will take his rightful place in your awareness the instant you abandon it and offer it to him. So we'll pick up there in paragraph 7, which is our next paragraph. What's going on around the world? Big long list out of holidays and observances. I just want to mention a few of them. American Indian Day. And so our word for peace was from my tribe that I was, my biological ancestry, to some degree, very minimal, is Cherokee. Elohah. Elohah is the word for peace, or a word for peace, or several. And then Bereaved Mother's Day, Birth Mother's Day, International Migratory Birds Day, Mother Ocean Day, or Mother Earth, Mother Ocean for all you sailors, I love it. And then Sun Awareness Day. You know, wear a hat. Keep the sun off your nose and ears and face. And a good we were talking about near-death experiences. One I want to tell you about. He didn't tell his name, but it was on Strange Stories. It was I died and met an alien near-death experience. It's 16 minutes and 22 seconds. And he says in there, he learned in his NDE to find something loving about his abusive father. And it was hard for him to find something that was loving about him, but when he did, it changed his whole life. Oh, doesn't that go along with what we're learning in our studies? See the good, see what's real. Anyway, he saw that his father was a good gardener, and he just always reminded himself of that when he was feeling angry and upset. And his father realized that this boy loved him. He said one time, "You're the only one that really loves me." Okay, and then in edible landscaping, Belle of Georgia peach. Belle of Georgia peach has been grown for centuries from the north to the south. Very disease resistant and long lived, very bud hardy, white fleshed fruit, drops when ripe, ripens 4 weeks after red haven, usually needs a short course for care, as all peaches do. Self-fertile, space 14-foot circles, zones 5 through 8. And the very last paragraph in Permaculture for Beginners by Carrie Mitchell, and we can read a portion of it. I'm going to read the last paragraph in her words. Most of the book, I just put it in my own words. If you are committing to permaculture, know that you are a student on an ongoing journey of discovery. Use the findings and experiences of others to guide your plans. Do your research when considering what actions to take. This book is merely an introduction into a practice so rich with diversity that no book could ever contain all the information one would need to be successful. Good luck on your journey. It promises to be one of the most rewarding you will ever undertake. And so, thank you, Carrie Mitchell, for that introduction to permaculture. Why do I think that it's important that we learn permaculture and gardening and plants? There's a lot of reasons, but we have to eat anyway. I'll just use that as one of them. Paragraph 7 in chapter 14. And keep with you today. I loose the world from all I thought it was and choose my own reality instead. You cannot be your guide to miracles, for it is you who made them necessary, and because you did, the means on which you can depend for miracles has been provided for you. God's Son can depend for miracles. God's Son can make no needs his Father will not meet, if he but turn to him ever so little. Yet he cannot compel his Son to turn to him and remain himself. It is impossible that God lose his identity, for if he did, you would lose yours. And being yours, he cannot change himself, for your identity is changeless. The miracle acknowledges his changelessness by seeing his Son as he always was, and not as he would make himself. The miracle brings the effects the only guiltlessness can bring. The miracle brings the effects that only guiltlessness can bring, and thus establishes the fact that guiltlessness must be. 8. How can you, so firmly bound to guilt and committed so to remain, establish for yourself your guiltlessness? That is impossible. But be sure that you are willing to acknowledge that it is impossible. It is only because you think that you can run some little part or deal with certain aspects of your life alone that the guidance of the Holy Spirit is limited. Thus would he make him undependable, and use this fancied undependability as an excuse for keeping certain dark lessons from him. And by so limiting the guidance that you would accept, you are unable to depend on miracles to answer all your problems for you. Paragraph 9. Do not think that what the Holy Spirit would have you give, he would withhold from you. You have no problems that he cannot solve by offering you a miracle. Miracles are for you, and every fear or pain or trial you have has been undone. He has brought all of them to light, having accepted them instead of you, and recognized they never were. There are no dark lessons he has not already lightened for you. The lessons you would teach yourself, he has corrected already. They do not exist in his mind at all. For the past binds him not, and therefore binds not you. He does not see time as you do, and each miracle he offers you corrects your use of time and makes it his. 10. He who has freed you from the past would teach you are free of it. He would but have you accept his accomplishments as yours, because he did them for you. And because he did, they are yours. He has made you free of what you made. You can deny him, but you cannot call on him in vain. He always gives his gifts in place of yours. He would establish his bright teaching so firmly in your mind that no dark lesson of guilt can abide in what he has established as holy by his presence. Thank God that Thank God that he is there and works through you, and all his works are yours. He offers you a miracle with every one you let him do through you. 11. God's Son will always be indivisible. As we are held as one in God, so do we learn as one in him. God's teacher is as like to his Creator as is his Son. And through his teacher does God proclaim his oneness and his Son's. Listen in silence. Listen in silence. And do not raise your voice against him, for he teaches the miracle of oneness. And before his lesson, division disappears. Teach like him here, and you will remember that you have always created like your Father. The miracle of creation has never ceased, having the holy stamp of immortality upon it. This is the will of God for all creation, and all creation joins in willing this. 12. Those who remember always that they know nothing, and who have become willing to learn everything, will learn it. But whenever they trust themselves, they will not learn. They have destroyed their motivation for learning by thinking they already know. Think not you understand anything until you pass the test of perfect peace. For peace and understanding go together and never can be found alone. Each brings the other with it, for it is the law of God, they be not separate. They are cause and effect each to the other. So where one is absent, the other cannot be. 13. Only those who recognize they cannot know, unless the effects of understanding are with them, can really learn it all. For this, it must be peace they want and nothing else. Whenever you think you know, peace will depart from you, because you have abandoned the teacher of peace. Whenever you fully realize that you know not, peace will return, for you will have invited him to do so by abandoning the ego on behalf of him. Call not upon the ego for anything. It is only this that you need do. The Holy Spirit will of himself fill every mind that so makes room for him. 14. If you want peace, you must abandon the teacher of attack. The teacher of peace will never abandon you. You can desert him, but he will never reciprocate, for his faith in you is his understanding. It is as firm as is his faith in his Creator, and he knows that faith in his Creator must encompass faith in his creation. In this consistency lies his holiness, which he cannot abandon, for it is not his will to do so. With your perfection ever in his sight, he gives the gift of peace to everyone who perceives the need for peace and who would have it. Make way for peace and it will come. Make way for peace and it will come. For understanding is in you, and from it peace must come. In the last paragraph of the chapter, 15, the power of God from which they both arise is yours as surely as it is his. You think you know him not only because alone it is impossible to know him. Yet see the mighty works that he will do through you, and you must be convinced you did them through him. It is impossible to deny the source of effects so powerful they could not be of you. Leave room for him, and he will find leave room for Him, and you will find yourself so filled with power that nothing will prevail against your peace. And this will be the test by which you recognize that you have understood. A little self-test, huh? Do you have peace? Is it abiding no matter what? Well, make that more real today as you do your lesson throughout the day. Let's sing what it is, and if we have time, I think we'll throw in that part we did yesterday about when peace threatens you in any way. Say to yourself, I do not know what anything including this means. I loose the world from all I thought it was. I loose the world from all I thought it was, and choose my own reality instead. I who remain as God created me would loose the world from all I thought it was. For I am real because the world is not, and I would know my own reality. I loose the world from all I thought it was, and choose my own reality instead. When your peace is threatened or disturbed in any way, say to yourself, I do not know what anything including this means, and so I do not know how to respond to it, and I will not use my own past learning as the light to guide me now, as the light to guide me now. I loose the world from all I thought it was, and choose my own reality instead. I loose the world from all I thought it was, and choose my own reality instead. I loose the world from all I thought it was, and choose my own reality instead. I loose the world from all I thought it was. I loose the world from all I thought it was. How are we good on our time? I guess we are. Kind of got into that song there for a moment, and I kind of do when I'm doing by myself and no one's watching me. I can kind of get lost in the song where I even forget the chords. Anyway, our word for peace today in Cherokee is Elohah. Elohah. I loose the world from all I thought it was, and choose my own reality instead. Elohah.